I think, one of the keys to retention in technicians in this whole world is something that Lithia has been working on for a long time. We do it better in some markets than others, is fully growing your own techs. We say it, we talk about it, but unless that service manager and even that general manager nowadays has a buy-in to that, we're going to be fighting the same problem. We're always going to be looking for that master tech and whatever bad habits, whatever expensive, sign-ons that comes with that, and also the willingness for that person to jump to the next sign-on bonus. If we've grown that tech up from, wet behind the ears, out of vocational school, we put the training on them, they've grown up in our culture, retention is much better that way. And that brings in some of the older techs, rather than just putting them out to pasture, can we use them as a mentor? Can they maybe stop doing some of the heavy line, do mostly diagnostics, and then have 2 apprentices underneath them that they get paid a portion of that work? There's all sorts of things that we're implementing that will, lengthen a technician's career and allow us to grow better techs from the ground up. So that's a big part of it.
Do you find that stores that are really good at growing their own are also usually really good at recruiting? Are those two mutually independent skills?
Do you find sometimes when he interrupts that you don't know if he's telling a joke or
I've made sure to listen till the end now, but I think that is a phenomenal point. Are they better at recruiting? Absolutely, because they've got it down to a finite set. They're looking for an entry-level tech that they know will fit in that system and also have potential. So somebody that's got drive and ambition, right?
Which is attractive, right? At all levels.
Absolutely. And are they better at retention? Absolutely. You don't have 911s from a shop like that. I mean, unless something just horrible happens, they don't have 911s. They're always looking for that next, group. And some people, the entry-level candidates can feel that culture and want it so bad, they'll come on and be a porter for a while just to get their foot in the door, and then they start doing some lube work and everything else, and then they're in the door. So they've got 2 tiers below a C-level tech that they're actually bringing people in to get into the system. So
yeah, I think that's the thing with support staff. You should always be interviewing, thinking about what their next step is.
Absolutely.
Right?
And then referrals. Referrals is a huge deal. Making sure you have that relationship with your techs and your staff that, they know somebody where they used to work. Well, let's talk to them, because then I can get away all around all the gatekeepers, because now I have a contact right with that candidate, and that's a big thing.
So when you talk about growing your own, I think there's a couple things that as an industry that is missed. The first one is, and the stats that I've seen from manufacturers, is that technicians going into a quick lube environment, so a standalone quick lube environment, within the first 2 years, it's over 60% leave.
Absolutely.
But we also get married to this quick lube environment like it's a business model, while our profitability also goes the other way. Sure. And so understanding that having a better system in the shop for a quick lube, so a customer can experience an oil change in a reasonable amount of time, but you can still have those technicians mixed in and around the other ones and being mentored and having them in the shop, that dramatically cuts that turnover.
Sure.
And then I think the other one that's missed is whenever, McKinsey or these big consulting companies are hired to research why technicians leave our industry, the number one reason usually is they don't see a chance of advancement. They don't see a clear career path. They see this guy who's a shop foreman that's never going to leave.
Right. Yeah.
And they don't and nobody's talking to them about, hey, what are your plans, or where do you want to go? And then the second one is their boss. They don't believe their bosses never engage them in a personal, relationship, and so they don't feel like the boss cares about them. And so there's that gap. But those are always the first two. Money is like 4 or 5 on those lists.
Which would shock a lot of people, but you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think, that whole career path at the start, at the day of hire is so important. But then if that's all you do with that career path, then it's useless. If you don't have, say, a 30-day, meet and greet consultation with that employee as they're going through the career path, it's not a tool anymore. It just was a piece of paper you got for them to sit down. But every 30 days, if you're saying, hey, Mike, great job. You got these kicked out. You got some online training done. Here's what we're going to look at the next 30 days, and here's what that pay will look like. Mm-hmm. And I think our managers that do that consistently have a much better retention rate. They actually have a quicker growth pattern for their technicians as well. And you can weed somebody out, in that first 90 days pretty quick if you're actually on top of it and looking what their performance is and how they're following that career path. And sometimes, you got to punt. I mean, sometimes they're just probably never going to be able to handle that pace, and we either find a different spot for them in the dealership or whatever else we have to do. But there has to be expectations both ways, I think, too, for it to work.
Thanks so much for watching this clip of Service Driving Revolution. We're uploading new stuff every day, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss out. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show, call 8333-ASK-SDR and we'll answer your question on the show. That's 8333-ASK-SDR. For special deals on our books and training, head over to offers.chriscollinsinc.com. Now that's offers.chriscollinsinc.com. I'm Chris Collins, and I'll see you in the next video.